The silent vigil. The emergency klaxons echoed through the corridors of Research Station Omega-7 as Dr. Zara Okafor rushed toward the command center. Her coffee mug clattered to the floor, forgotten, as she pushed past startled colleagues who were already moving toward emergency positions. The station's artificial gravity hummed beneath her feet, a constant reminder that they floated in the vast emptiness between stars, far from any help. Commander Kai Nakamura was already at the main console when Zara arrived, his weathered face illuminated by the red warning lights that bathed the command center. The man had served on frontier stations for 15 years, and Zara had never seen him look this concerned. Around them, the skeleton crew of 37 researchers and technicians worked frantically at their stations. "What's the situation?" Zara asked, trying to catch her breath. She had been deep in the underground excavation chambers when the alarms began, studying the mysterious crystalline structures they had discovered 3 months ago, buried beneath the station's foundation. Kai pointed at the main display screen where dozens of red dots were approaching their position. "Long-range sensors picked them up 20 minutes ago. 63 vessels, military configuration. They're not responding to our standard greeting protocols." Zara felt her stomach drop. "Pirates?" "Worse." Kai's voice was grim. "The energy signatures? Match Krillian Empire warships, a full battle fleet by the looks of it." The Krillian Empire was known throughout this sector of space as conquerors and slavers. They had built their civilization by taking what they wanted from weaker species, and their technology was centuries ahead of humanity's. No human colony had ever survived a Krillian assault. "Why would they come here?" Zara asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. "We're just a research station. We have no military value, no strategic resources." Kai turned to look at her directly, his dark eyes filled with understanding. "They're not here for our research, Zara. They're here for what you found down there. The artifacts." 3 months ago, Zara's team had been conducting routine geological surveys when their deep core drilling equipment had broken through into a vast chamber system beneath the station. What they found inside had changed everything. Crystalline formations that pulsed with their own inner light, metallic structures that defied analysis, and most disturbing of all, technology that seemed to respond to human presence. The artifacts were clearly the work of an advanced alien civilization, but one that had vanished millions of years ago. Zara's preliminary reports, sent back to Earth through standard channels, had described energy readings unlike anything in human databases. Apparently, those reports had been intercepted. "Incoming transmission," announced Lieutenant Sarah Chen from the communication station. "They're demanding to speak with whoever is in charge." Kai nodded. "Put it through." The main screen flickered, and suddenly they were looking at the face of their enemy. The Krillian who appeared was tall and imposing, with the characteristic blue-gray skin and multiple eyes that marked his species. His head was adorned with the ceremonial scarring that indicated high military rank, and when he spoke, his voice carried the authority of someone accustomed to absolute obedience. "I am Admiral Thex of the Krillian 7th Fleet," the alien said, his words translated by the station's computer systems. "You will identify yourselves and prepare to surrender your facility immediately." Commander Nakamura stepped forward, his military bearing evident despite the desperate situation. "This is Research Station Omega-7, under the protection of the United Earth Colonial Authority. I am Commander Nakamura. We are a peaceful scientific installation with no military capabilities." Admiral Thex's laugh was a harsh sound that made several people in the command center step back from their stations. "Do not insult my intelligence, human. Our instruments have detected the energy signatures emanating from your station. You have discovered artifacts of the Ancient Ones, and you will turn them over to us." "I don't know what you're talking about," Nakamura replied, though Zara could see the strain in his voice. "Commander," Admiral Thex said, his tone growing cold, "I have 63 warships at my disposal, each capable of reducing your station to dust. You have 37 people under your command. The mathematics are simple. Surrender the artifacts and your people will be allowed to live as slaves. Resist, and you will all die." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Zara looked around at the faces of her colleagues, people she had worked beside for 2 years. Dr. Martinez, who had 3 children back on Mars. Engineer Volkov, who was supposed to retire next month. Young technician Park, fresh out of the academy and full of dreams about exploring the galaxy. How long until they reach us? Zara asked quietly. 2 hours at their current speed, Chen reported. They're not in any hurry. They know we can't run. Kai activated the station-wide communication system. All personnel, this is Commander Nakamura. We are facing an imminent threat from hostile forces. All non-essential personnel are to report to emergency shelters immediately. Research teams implement data purge protocols. If we cannot keep our discoveries from falling into enemy hands, we will ensure they are destroyed. Zara grabbed Kai's arm. Wait, what if there's another option? Such as? The artifacts respond to human presence, Kai. What if that's not a coincidence? What if the Ancient Ones left these things here specifically for us to find? Kai shook his head. Zara, even if that's true, we don't have time to figure out how to use alien technology we barely understand. In 2 hours, we're going to be boarded by Krillian Marines. Then give me 1 hour, Zara said urgently. Let me go back down to the excavation site. Maybe there's something we missed, something that could help us. Before Kai could respond, Lieutenant Chen called out from her station. Commander, I'm picking up another ship on long-range sensors. Single vessel, approaching from the opposite vector. More Krillians? Kai asked. Chen frowned at her instruments. No, sir, the energy signature is different. It's not matching any known alien configurations in our database. Could it be human? Zara asked hopefully. The size is wrong, Chen replied. It's massive, easily 3 times larger than our biggest colony ships. But the energy patterns, they do seem somewhat familiar. On the main screen, a new red dot appeared, approaching their position from the deep void beyond the system's edge. Unlike the Krillian fleet, which had jumped in through hyperspace at the system's boundary, this new vessel seemed to emerge from somewhere much farther away, as if it had been traveling through normal space for a very long time. Time to intercept? Kai asked. At current speed. 30 minutes before the unknown vessel reaches us. The Krillian fleet will be here 90 minutes after that. Zara felt a strange sensation, like a whisper at the edge of her consciousness. For months, she had been experiencing odd moments while working with the artifacts, brief instances where she felt connected to something vast and ancient. Now, as she looked at the approaching dot on the screen, that feeling was stronger than ever. I need to get to the excavation site, she said again, more urgently this time. Zara, it's too dangerous. If the station is breached, Kai, trust me, something is happening down there. The artifacts are reacting to whatever is approaching us. I can feel it. Commander Nakamura studied her face for a long moment, then nodded. Take Volkov and 2 security personnel with you. Stay in constant communication. If I give the evacuation order, you leave immediately. As Zara hurried toward the lift that would take her to the excavation levels, she heard Lieutenant Chen making another announcement. Commander, the unknown vessel has changed course. It's now on a direct intercept path with the Krillian fleet. The elevator descended through the station's multiple levels, passing through the living quarters, the laboratories, the engineering sections, and finally reaching the excavation area deep beneath the station's foundation. The moment the doors opened, Zara could feel the change in the air. The artifacts were definitely more active than she had ever seen them before. Engineer Volkov, a stocky man with decades of experience working in deep space, whistled softly as they entered the main excavation chamber. Doctor, look at this. I have never seen them glow so brightly. The chamber was enormous, carved from solid rock by unknown hands millions of years ago. Crystalline structures rose from the floor like frozen trees, their surfaces pulsing with waves of blue and silver light. At the center of the chamber stood what Zara had come to think of as the control node, a complex arrangement of metal and crystal that seemed to be the focal point of all the other artifacts. The energy readings are off the charts, reported Security Chief Rodriguez, scanning the chamber with a handheld detector. Whatever these things are, they're definitely responding to something. Zara approached the control node carefully. Over the months of study, she had learned that the artifacts responded most strongly to direct human contact. Every time she touched the crystalline surfaces, she experienced brief flashes of something. Images, emotions, memories that were not her own. "Doctor," Volkov called out, "I am reading massive energy buildup in the crystal formations. This is beyond anything we have recorded before." "The artifacts," Zara replied, her voice filled with wonder. "They were meant for us, Kai. The Ancient Ones left them here for humanity to find." "That's fascinating. But right now we have a more immediate problem. The unknown vessel has just achieved orbit. It's... Zara, you need to see this." Still connected to the control node, Zara could somehow sense what was happening above. Through the artifact's network, she could feel the presence of the approaching ship, and what she discovered made her gasp. The vessel wasn't just large, it was ancient. But unlike the artifacts buried beneath the station, this ship was human-made, or at least partially so. Somehow, human technology had been combined with Ancient One artifacts to create something unprecedented. "Commander," Lieutenant Chen's voice echoed through the communication system. "The unknown vessel is hailing us. The signal is definitely human origin." "Put it through," Kai ordered. A new voice filled the communication channels, speaking in accented English that Zara recognized as having origins in the old Earth colonies. "Research Station Omega-7, this is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Deep Space Vessel Wanderer. We have been monitoring your situation and are here to offer assistance." "Captain Vasquez," Kai replied, "this is Commander Nakamura. We appreciate any help you can offer, but you should know that you're facing a Krillian battle fleet. They have 63 warships." There was a pause before Captain Vasquez responded, and when she did, there was something in her voice that reminded Zara of steel being forged in fire. "Commander, we are well aware of the Krillian presence. We have been tracking them across 3 star systems. It is time they learned that humanity is not as helpless as they believe." The reckoning through her connection to the artifacts. Dr. Zara Okafor could sense the massive human vessel as it maneuvered into position between the research station and the approaching Krillian fleet. The ship called Wanderer was unlike anything in the databases of known human vessels, its hull incorporating technologies that seemed to blend human engineering with the same crystalline matrices she had been studying for months. Above, in the command center, Commander Nakamura was trying to understand what kind of help a single ship could provide against an entire Krillian battle fleet. "Captain Vasquez, while we appreciate your offer of assistance, you need to understand the situation. The Krillians have 63 warships, each one capable of destroying a colony." "Commander," Captain Vasquez replied, her voice carrying a confidence that seemed almost supernatural. "My ship carries 412 souls, all that remain of the colony at Kepler's Rest after the Krillians destroyed our world 6 months ago. We have been hunting this particular fleet ever since. Today we settle accounts." Lieutenant Chen looked up from her sensor station, her face pale with disbelief. "Commander, the Wanderer is powering up weapon systems, and the energy readings, they don't match anything in our technological databases. Whatever they're using for power, it's generating more energy than a fusion reactor should be able to produce." In the excavation chamber below, Zara felt the artifacts respond to the Wanderer's presence with increasing intensity. The crystalline structures throughout the vast underground complex began to resonate with harmonious tones, creating a symphony of sound that seemed to communicate across impossible distances. "Dr. Okafor," Engineer Volkov said, his voice filled with awe. "The energy readings from the artifacts are synchronizing with the unknown vessel. It is as if they are communicating with each other." Zara kept her palm pressed against the control node, allowing the flood of information to continue flowing through her consciousness. Through this connection, she began to understand the true nature of the Wanderer and its crew. The ship had been built using human engineering principles, but its most critical systems incorporated artifacts similar to those buried beneath the research station. 6 months ago, when the Krillian Empire had attacked the agricultural colony at Kepler's Rest. A small group of survivors had escaped in a damaged cargo vessel. Drifting in space and expecting to die, they had detected energy signatures from a derelict alien vessel, one of the Ancient One's exploration ships that had been drifting through the void for millions of years. Instead of treasure or weapons, the survivors had found something far more valuable: knowledge. The derelict ship's crystalline memory banks had contained the entire technological database of the Ancient Ones, including instructions for integrating their technology with younger species engineering systems. Led by former Colonial Defense Officer Elena Vasquez, the survivors had spent months rebuilding their damaged ship, incorporating Ancient One technology into every system. The result was the Wanderer, a vessel that appeared to be a simple human cargo ship, but possessed capabilities that rivaled those of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. All Krillian vessels, Admiral Thex's voice boomed across the communication channels. You will withdraw from this system immediately or face destruction. This is not a negotiation. Captain Vasquez's response was calm and measured. Admiral Thex, I am Captain Elena Vasquez, speaking for the people of Kepler's Rest. 6 months ago, your fleet murdered 3,000 innocent colonists, including children who had never harmed anyone. Today, you will answer for those crimes. Admiral Thex's harsh laughter filled the communication channels. One human ship against my entire fleet? Your species' arrogance continues to amaze me. All vessels, destroy the human ship, then proceed with the occupation of the research station. The Krillian fleet opened fire simultaneously, 63 warships unleashing enough destructive energy to vaporize a small moon. Streams of plasma and antimatter warheads converged on the Wanderer's position, creating a brilliant explosion that lit up the darkness of space. In the command center of Research Station Omega-7, the crew watched in horror as their would-be rescuer vanished in a ball of superheated gas and debris. Commander Nakamura closed his eyes, knowing that their last hope had just died along with 400 innocent people. But Lieutenant Chen's startled exclamation made him look at the screen again. Commander, I'm still reading the Wanderer's energy signature. The ship is intact. Where the explosion had been, the Wanderer emerged from the dissipating plasma cloud, its hull unmarked by the devastating attack. The ship's crystalline shield generators, based on Ancient One technology, had absorbed the entire barrage without suffering any apparent damage. Impossible. Admiral Thex's voice carried a note of concern for the first time. No human ship possesses that level of defensive capability. Admiral, Captain Vasquez replied, you have spent your entire career attacking defenseless colonies and cargo ships. You have never faced humans who were prepared to fight back. The Wanderer's weapon systems came online, and the energy readings that Lieutenant Chen detected made her double-check her instruments. Commander, whatever weapons that ship is carrying, they're generating power levels comparable to a stellar core. Deep beneath the research station, Zara felt the artifacts respond to the Wanderer's activation of its weapon systems. The control node beneath her palm grew warm, and suddenly she could see the battle as if she were standing on the Wanderer's bridge. Captain Elena Vasquez was a woman in her 40s, with graying hair and eyes that had seen too much death. Around her, the survivors of Kepler's Rest worked at stations that blended human controls with crystalline interfaces from the Ancient Ones. Children who had lost their parents operated sensor systems with skill beyond their years. Elderly colonists, who had lost everything, served as gunners and engineers, united by their determination to ensure that no other human colony would suffer as theirs had. Target their command ships first, Captain Vasquez ordered. The Ancient Ones' records show that Krillian fleets rely on centralized command structures. Remove their leadership, and the rest will fall apart. The Wanderer's main weapon fired, a beam of coherent energy that seemed to bend space itself around its path. The beam struck Admiral Thex's flagship dead center, and the massive Krillian dreadnought simply vanished, its matter converted to pure energy in an instant. The remaining Krillian ships scattered, trying to present multiple targets, but the Wanderer moved through space with impossible grace. The ship's propulsion system, enhanced by Ancient One gravitational manipulation technology, allowed it to change direction and velocity in ways that defied conventional physics. A second beam lanced out, destroying another Krillian heavy cruiser. Then a third, eliminating one of the fleet's carrier vessels. Each shot was precisely targeted, designed not just to destroy ships, but to maximize the psychological impact on the surviving Krillian crews. "All ships, concentrate fire on the human vessel's engine sections," ordered the surviving Krillian fleet commander. "Disable their propulsion, and we can overwhelm them." But the concentrated fire of 59 warships had no more effect than the first barrage. The Wanderer's shields absorbed the incoming energy and somehow channeled it into the ship's power systems, making the vessel even stronger. In the excavation chamber, Zara finally understood what was happening. The artifacts weren't just repositories of ancient technology. They were part of a galaxy-spanning network created by the Ancient Ones to connect younger species who possessed the wisdom and courage to use their gifts responsibly. Humanity had proven itself through acts of sacrifice, creativity, and determination. The survivors of Kepler's Rest had not used their newfound power for conquest or revenge beyond what justice demanded. Instead, they had dedicated themselves to protecting other innocent colonies from the same fate that had befallen their world. The Ancient Ones had built their network to identify species worthy of joining the galactic community as protectors rather than conquerors. Through their actions, humans had demonstrated that they understood the true purpose of power: to protect those who could not protect themselves. Captain Vasquez. Admiral Thex's voice now carried genuine fear. "I propose a withdrawal. My fleet will leave this system and never return." "Admiral," Captain Vasquez replied, "your fleet has terrorized this sector for decades. How many innocent colonies have you destroyed? How many peaceful species have you enslaved? Your withdrawal is not enough." Another beam lanced out from the Wanderer, destroying a Krillian battlecruiser. Then another, eliminating a destroyer squadron. The battle had become completely one-sided, with the Krillian fleet unable to either harm their opponent or escape. But Zara, connected to the network of artifacts, sensed that Captain Vasquez was not motivated by bloodlust or revenge. Through the Ancient One's technology, she could feel the captain's emotions: grief for her lost colony, determination to protect others, and most surprisingly, hope for a future where such tragedies would no longer be possible. "Admiral Thex," Captain Vasquez said, "I offer you one chance to avoid the total destruction of your fleet. You will immediately release all slaves and captives held by the Krillian Empire. You will provide reparations to the colonies you have attacked, and you will withdraw all Krillian forces from this sector of space permanently." "And if we refuse?" Admiral Thex asked, though his voice suggested he already knew the answer. "Then your fleet dies here, today, and we will hunt down every other Krillian battle group until your empire learns to leave peaceful species alone." Through the artifacts, Zara could sense the fear spreading through the Krillian fleet. These aliens had built their entire civilization on the principle that might makes right, that superior technology and numbers guaranteed victory. Now they faced an opponent who possessed both superior technology and an unshakable moral purpose. We accept your terms," Admiral Thex finally replied, his voice hollow with defeat. "Very good," Captain Vasquez said. "You will begin implementing these terms immediately. Any attempt to renege on this agreement will result in the complete annihilation of your remaining forces." The Krillian fleet began to withdraw from the system, their ships moving with the haste of warriors who had finally encountered an opponent they could not defeat. As they departed, Zara felt the artifacts throughout the underground complex begin to settle into a new pattern of activity. The crisis was over, but something fundamental had changed. Through her connection to the control node, Zara could sense similar networks of artifacts activating on dozens of worlds throughout human space. The Ancient One's gift to humanity was not limited to a single research station or one miraculous rescue ship. Captain Vasquez's voice crackled through the communication system once more. "Research Station Omega-7, this is the Wanderer. We are transmitting technical specifications that will allow you to integrate the artifacts beneath your station with your existing systems. The time has come for humanity to take its place as guardians of the galaxy." Commander Nakamura responded with wonder in his voice. Captain, how is this possible? How did you know about the artifacts? Commander, 6 months ago we were simple, farmers and colonists who thought we understood our place in the universe. Today we learned that humanity's destiny is far greater than we ever imagined. The Ancient Ones scattered their gifts across the galaxy, waiting for a species wise enough to use them for protection rather than conquest. In the excavation chamber, Zara removed her palm from the control node, but the connection remained. She now understood that the artifacts were not separate devices, but components of a vast communication and defense network that spanned the galaxy. Through this network, human colonies would be able to coordinate their efforts, share knowledge, and defend each other against any threat. But more than that, humanity had been chosen to carry forward the Ancient One's mission of protecting younger species and fostering galactic civilization. The crystalline technology would allow human ships to travel between stars in ways previously impossible, to communicate across vast distances instantly, and to defend justice wherever it was threatened. Zara made her way back to the surface. She reflected on the day's events. 12 hours ago, Research Station Omega-7 had been an isolated outpost on the edge of known space, staffed by scientists studying mysterious artifacts. Now, they were part of something infinitely larger, humanity's emergence as the galaxy's newest guardian species. The age of hiding on the edges of space was over. Humanity would take its place among the stars not as conquerors or supplicants, but as protectors of all those who chose peace over violence, cooperation over dominance, and hope over fear. In the depths of space, the Wanderer continued its patrol, its human crew watching over trade routes and colonies with technology that bridged the gap between ancient wisdom and human determination. And across the galaxy, other artifacts began to awaken, responding to humanity's proof that they were worthy inheritors of the Ancient One's greatest gift, the power to protect those who could not protect themselves. The galaxy would never be the same, and for the first time in millennia that was a change for the better.